And I have to say, I failed miserably as a host. I should have brought a conch along, and we can just move it to whoever's speaking.
We
So
have it over there somewhere.
Welcome to Steps to the Stage, a 7th Street Community Theater podcast.
welcome to Steps to the Stage. My name is Kirk Lane, and I'm going to be your host today. We are with the community theater professionals you know and love. We're really excited today because we're going to be diving into what is a very, very well-known and popular novel that came out in 1954, I believe, William Golding, if my research serves me well. And it's Lord of the Flies. And most of you who are listening, and we want to say hello to all of our listeners, not only across the country, but across both ponds as well. We love that you're involved in community theater, and we want to hear from you. So make sure and reach out to us on our social media or send us a message. We want to hear what's going on in Germany and Sweden and England, all those wonderful places that I know have great community theater alive and well, right? Shakespeare came from across the pond. That's, a lot of the reason why we're here. But we're going to talk today about Lord of the Flies. And we have an amazing production team in front of us today. We have Andrew, we have Dylan, and we have Gwen that's here. And earlier today, I called her Glenn when we first came up. So just full disclosure. And there's kind of a twist to that we'll talk about a little bit with this particular production. But these are veterans of our theater that have been here as actors for many, many years. I know I've seen several productions with all of you in there. But now you're on the production side. So I'm pretty excited to hear about that. So Lord of the Flies, again, is something we've all experienced in one way or another. Most of us had to read it in high school at some point, even me, when I rode my carriage to school back then and we rolled the rock to get in. I'm making a bad joke about how old I am. But so it's something we're familiar with. So I really want to touch on those themes when we bring a production to the stage here, especially if it's something that people are familiar with, how we want to make it our own and how we want to share it with the world. So right now we're going to go through, and I'd like to hear, have you each introduce yourself, your role, and then we'll dive into it.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrew Landeros, and I am the director of Lord of the Flies.
Hello, my name is Dylan Johnston, and I am Jack.
Hi, my name is Gwen Calibert. I am playing Ralph.
Oh, wow. So I was totally mistaken. I thought you guys were part of the production team, but you're actually in the cast.
Yes. Yeah.
Even better. Even better. I loved it. So Andrew, welcome. And I have a question. Is this your first time directing?
This is my first time directing, yes.
This is just absolutely amazing. We so love the progression of people that get the chance to come and perform on our stage, but then they actually move into the production team and now directing. So let's hear a little bit about that. That had to be a bit of a leap, or let's hear about your background and what drew you to this.
So I've mostly been an actor my entire life, but the last show I did here was Newsies. I did Newsies when I was 22, and I aged out of the theater. And I was just getting back into theater, and I wanted to step into more like directing positions. I wanted to try it out. So I started as a co-director with Debbie on Puffs, and then I was also helping Andrea out with Chitty Chitty Bang
Bang, yes.
Yeah, but this was the first time that I did a show completely by myself, and it was scary going into it because I've never been a director before, and I was scared, that I wouldn't be as good as the other directors here, or that my approach to it would be too different, and that the actors wouldn't appreciate it, or that
there's some big shoes to fill here.
Yeah,
some really big shoes to fill here. But and I'm glad that you had those concerns and that you're sharing them with us. But I love to hear that you've actually been with some of the also newer directors as well. So then you have that resource to talk to them when maybe you're struggling one night at rehearsal and you need to bounce something off.
Definitely have been going to Debbie and be like, hey, what do I do in this situation? What do I do in this situation? And it's also like, it's scary because, I want the show to be good, but I don't want to fail anybody. I don't want to fail my actors, and I take all of the faults and everything on myself.
Right.
Because I want it to be like, I feel like any shortcomings are my fault because I'm the director. So it's been hard, and I get very stressed out.
Well, in doing my research, I see that leadership is actually a pretty big theme of Lord of the Flies.
It
So
is.
I love that you're taking on that leadership role, and that you understand it is important and there is a large weight on your shoulder. And I imagine with the themes that this particular production covers, that you do take those to heart, and maybe there's the play within the play going on the production side.
Yeah.
So I get that. I love to hear that. And so what drew you to Lord of the Flies, and why did you submit for that particular production?
So I went to Ayala High School, and
Shout out to Bulldogs.
exactly. So in the theater department, I was there under Mr. Hulk.
Okay.
But he had a thing called class leaders or theater
Okay.
leaders. And for the advanced theater program, the 3 leaders, they had to write their own script and direct their own script and cast it within the class. And when I did it in high school, I picked Lord of the Flies. And I did
Love
it,
that.
but I was going through a really rough time in my life during that point, and I wasn't that experienced as an actor. I didn't really know what I was doing. My only experience was at Ayala itself.
Okay.
So when I went about pitching this, I've always wanted to teach younger actors because I didn't get that growing up.
Ah,
I had to figure it out myself.
okay.
And I always, when I got to college especially, I thought, I wish I had someone there. 'Cause I don't come from that much of a supportive family. Like, they didn't put me in theater. They didn't push me that much.
Right.
And it was all mostly myself doing all that.
Self-motivation is a good thing, and everyone has different situations and
Exactly,
experiences, but
I want
appreciate you sharing
to
that
give
with
that
us. Yeah.
to the younger actors. So when I pitched the show, I wanted to do a show, first one, to redeem myself from that high school production, but also
Okay.
Lord of the Flies has such complex themes and complex characters that I could really use to teach an actor about how to act differently, how to think about things differently on stage. And I hope I've executed that well with them.
Yes.
But yeah, so then it was such an important story
Yeah.
that I would think would be so unique coming from 2 different casts, especially.
And so you touch on 2 different casts, and if our listeners weren't aware of this or haven't been following the socials here at the community theater, the Children's Community Theater, we have both a male and a female cast. So you're going to be taking that approach from both perspectives. And as we talked about those themes, right, morality, leadership, civility, and chaos, you look at the gender placement of those, and you can go to a couple of different directions. So I love that you're taking this on. And with that, we're going to jump over to our actors, and we're going to get a little bit about their history, but also their perspective in this particular situation. So, Dylan, you're going to go first.
All right. So I started at CCT. Doing Puffs, actually, which was Andrew's first
Right.
ever project. And it's kind of poetic because this is probably going to be my last show here. And it's also going to be with Andrew, with him doing his very first direct.
Don't sell yourself out, man. There's lots of stuff that the adult theater can do. You may be back, but I hear what you're saying.
Maybe. But yeah, like through the years here, CCT has definitely pushed me to be a better actor for sure through Puffs. Which is funny, you're wearing a Carrie shirt. I was supporting lead in Carrie.
Yes,
So,
I love that. Yeah.
Carrie, and now I'm in college now, which is crazy to think about because I only started my junior year.
Yeah.
Now I'm in college doing these big shows, but I still love coming here. I definitely love educating because I'm the oldest guy in the male cast.
Okay.
So now I'm like going from college with all these adults who are like 23 and up, going to like our youngest is 13, I believe.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's like, I don't know. It's just something beautiful about it. It's like you're never too old or too young to start theater.
Right. And you got to experience it, obviously, doing several productions here. Did you also do productions in high school?
Yes, I did. My very first long play was Our Town by Thorne Wilder.
Oh, beautiful.
I was Mr.
Beautiful.
Webb.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got thrown in there. I was in a stagecraft class for some reason, and
Love that.
the teacher was like, "Hey, can you read some lines? You're really good. You're gonna get the lead." Oh, okay. And then did Lion King, and that's when I truly fell in love with theater.
And now you're doing it in college as well.
Yeah, I want to make this a job. The big goal is Broadway.
I love that. And it's achievable. And what's great to hear is there are quite a number of people that have actually performed on the stage that have also performed on Broadway.
Yeah.
So Gwen, let's hear your story. I know you've been here for quite a long time and done a number of productions here. And I've seen some, I think, of your productions in high school as well. But love to hear a little bit about the history and where you're at with this cast.
Yeah, so I've only been doing theater for around 4 years now, and my first very production, like ever, was Newsies, which was Andrew's last show that he's done here.
I was actually in Newsies as well. I got to play one of the Roosevelts, so we have a connection there.
Yeah, and I don't know, I just fell in love with theater there. I've always loved the idea of performing since I was little, like just the dancing and singing. Like my family was like really revolved around music, and I just fell in love with it. And the fact that I could do it all in one thing, it's just such a beautiful art.
Yeah,
it's so real and so live. And it's so crazy how different it is.
Yeah.
Like,
well, so much emphasis is put on sports and those things that are all around us. You know, theater wasn't necessarily had the attention or the focus, right? And then you see productions like Hamilton coming out and having the worldwide, appeal. You're seeing programs like Glee and things of that nature that are coming on TV. And so you're seeing it in our culture, and it's becoming something that's very acceptable. And so I think people are definitely giving more effort and energy and credence to it. So I love to hear that story. And I played sports. You know what? Being in a production is like a season of sports, right? You have your coaches, you have your players, you have your goal. You're going to go through every production is just like a game. And at the end of it all, you have the same memories and connections that you have. So it's so beautiful. I so appreciate that I've had the experience on both sides. But tell us more. So you also did some productions in school as well?
Yes, I was also in the same production as Dylan in Our Town and Lion King.
Love that.
And I just continued doing theater. I stopped doing theater at my school last year.
Okay.
But because I wanted to explore other theaters and just see what's in store for me, which is a lot, which is exciting.
Absolutely. So many theaters around. And one of the reasons why we expanded into our IE edition, because we have 4 or 5 theaters just in the Inland Empire. And that doesn't even touch Pasadena, LA, Orange County, and everything else. So there's just so many just in California.
Yeah.
I travel a lot for work, and I love going to other productions in other states as well. So it's out there, and it's definitely something you can make a career out of it. So what made you decide to audition for Lord of the Flies?
For Lord of the Flies, I was in intern board last year. And so Andrew kind of picked out a couple people in that group to perform it for the season reveal.
Right.
And so when I was picked to be a part of that, I learned more about his ideas for the show. And I've always looked up to Andrew. He's just like a really amazing person. And I just like, he's my idol.
That's great.
And so I just fell in love with all his concepts for the show. And I've never read the book, and I still haven't.
Really? Okay.
Which is really funny. But
not necessarily a bad thing, though, because we've talked about that in some of the productions that have been here, especially the ones that are, we'll say, more well-known or more popular or something. Sometimes that can influence the direction that a production can go because you are so influenced by what you've seen. So there's also a beauty in not having seen it, because then you can take the page and the direction and create that character from there as well. So I love that. I'm going to go back to you, Andrew. From the very beginning, did you know you wanted to do a male and a female cast?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the inspiration behind that?
Well, I wanted to take the story and make it unique to the actors.
Okay.
In the sense that the way I view acting is acting should never be trying to be someone else. I believe true acting should come from who you are as a person and putting yourself into the boundaries of the character itself. So my whole goal with doing this show is to teach actors to be themselves and to use every single part of themselves to create a grounded and genuine reality. That's not just a play, it's real life for them.
And what a play with so many topics that give you the vehicle to be able to do that.
Exactly.
So I'm very excited to see both of the casts and see where that takes us as the audience goes.
Especially because, male and female, they have two different experiences and way they go about life. So you're going to see two different experiences, two different realities on stage. And it's beautiful because it tells the same story, but it's so different at the same time.
Dylan, what was your exposure to Lord of the Flies, or the same you hadn't read it, or had you?
So never read the book.
Okay.
I did know of it though.
Right.
I've never seen a production or anything. Like you look up on YouTube, like there's not much. But then I saw that Andrew was directing. I'm like, oh, I like Andrew. I would compose with him.
Love that.
He's amazing. And like other people were reaching out to me like, oh my God, you should audition for Lord of the Flies. I think you'd be really good. You should audition. I'm like, okay. But same thing, or like another thing going on. I had auditions for another show.
Okay.
And it was literally like pick or choose. But I told myself, like when I got the call for the role, I told myself, I trust Andrew. I trust his vision. I know it's going to be a good show.
That's a nice little glowing endorsement there.
I'm blushing.
And I have to share with our audience as well, this is just an audio podcast. We don't typically do the video part of it, but to see them celebrate each other and the comments that you guys are making is really special for me as a host, to see the connections. Like here you are, just a week or so out from opening, and you guys have gone through so much of the process, and then to hear each of you give your feedback on the question and to see you celebrate each other is, I think, really special. And I think that's a testament to the leadership, but it's also a testament to the effort that you put in, meaning actors, into the roles, especially if it's a role that you're not familiar with, right? What were some of the things that you did? I mean, once you read the script, where did you go? Gwen, talk to me about that process. And
this role has been so incredibly different from any other role that I've ever played. This is my first leading play.
Okay.
And it's really challenging because my role is a leader and I am far from that. And it's just weird to interpret
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, it's really crazy. This role has definitely changed who I am as a person, and I've definitely taken away some things from Ralph itself, and I just think that it's such a challenging show.
So you two don't play the same role, correct?
No.
Okay.
We're like
all right.
opposites.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's such a crazy, like daunting show with all these different topics. It's just. And the way that you can interpret it different ways with like males and females. And we also did a rehearsal today where we mixed both, and that was insane as well.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it was actually a question I was going to bring up, is the rehearsal process. Like how do we, and I have to say, I failed miserably as a host. I should have brought a conch along and we can just move it to whoever's speaking.
It.
So
We have it over there somewhere.
Well, let's go into that. You have two different casts. How do you rehearse that? Because they're not playing at the same time, and I have to imagine they're given different direction based upon the gender and that the themes, the morality themes, the leadership themes, the civility into chaos, and how does that happen?
So the way I went about the rehearsal process is the blocking rehearsals were together.
Okay.
Both casts were called, and I would just walk them through the blocking. We'd have one cast go up, do one scene, block it, film it, switch casts. All right. Then the next cast does the next scene over.
Okay.
So if you were sitting down watching it being blocked, you had to be taking notes in your script.
I love that.
And then switch and then do the same thing.
Okay.
So that was all blocking rehearsals. And then after that, it was individual cast work when we would do scene studies. So when I would compose a whole bunch of questions per scene for every actor that they have to have answered by the time they got into scene study. And scene study was talking about those questions and what they mean to our characters. So they really got to understand their characters, their motivations, and each other. So then once we had spent one day talking about it, then the next day would be, okay, now let's run it with blocking. And I would listen to their answers and be like, okay, well, your answers, you said this, but it's not reflecting in your blocking. So how do we take your answers and reflect it in the blocking and build upon those intentions that you guys have created?
I love that. And so now they have separation, yet they also are working in tandem to kind of understand that overall theme. Did you have characters that were in the male cast and the female cast ever interact and go back and forth as far as their role?
So we would also have days where it's we stumble throughs for each act. The play is divided into 3 different acts.
Okay.
And to keep the actors on track of their progress and their lines, we'd have to do stumble throughs where it was like, okay, you're off book, no scripts allowed.
Yeah.
You just have to run through it. And
That had to be
they were
fun.
both called. Both casts were called. They had to
Our
watch
2
each other.
actors are just visibly reacting to
Yeah.
all of this, so I have to share with our audience.
So they would have to watch each other, and then afterwards we'd talk to what we've learned about our cast, but also the other cast. What can we pull from each other's cast to influence ourselves?
I really love that you're making this more than just actors doing a role. Like there's really a deep study into the themes that we've discussed, but the characters and how they get there.
Yeah.
And that's got to be great as an actor to have that type of direction, right? You're given direction, but in the same breath, you're being asked to do the same thing that the characters had to go through, right, when they're on a deserted island. Tell us a little bit about that process and how you approached it, Dylan.
Yeah. I mean, for those who know Lord of the Flies, Jack is a very twisted but beautiful in a way character with how he goes from before the island to after. And we even did that today. Andrew made us write letters before we got onto the island, before the plane crashed, and then after leaving the island, being saved, just how our innocence were stripped away and everything we went through on the island. And like I said, 13-year-olds in the show, we were crying. There was lots of tears being thrown around, just in a circle reading all of our letters. And it's really hard to put into words. Yeah.
Well, and I just have to say that this is something that really sounds like you guys remember for the rest of your lives, right? And especially with the approach that Andrew's taken in that process. Gwen, give us some of your insight into that, digging deep.
Yeah, it's definitely different because I have always liked the character work and development in every single character that I that I play.
Yeah.
And it's just so different because I have more to work with all the questions that Andrew hands out. And also seeing the way that the male cast interprets it also takes a toll. And being asked these questions, it turns into something more personal. And I'm just like, how would I react in this sort of situation? And it just makes me question also myself. And it's just a crazy connection.
And that's what art really should do.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're down that path. So I know it takes a village. I want to learn more about the rest of the production team, assistant directors.
Yes.
Give us some insight of the rest of your support staff.
Yes, I have a lot, and I'm very grateful for all of them. So, first of all, my producer is Debbie Barbin.
Yeah.
I love her so much. I don't know what I would do without her. Like, when I first pitched the show, I was like, please be my producer.
Yeah.
And I was like, and also my mentor.
Yeah.
Because I really look up to her, and I'm just so grateful to have her there by my side. My assistant director is Sarah Tassan.
Okay.
And she's also I'm so grateful for her. She's there in rehearsal. She's taking notes for me, but also, like, I have her lead a lot of the discussions with the cast because, like, I can't be with both casts at the same time.
Right.
So it'll be like sometimes I'm working with this cast and she'll be working with the other cast, and we'll switch. And I was like, okay, can you run this stuff with them so that when they come to me, like, it's smoother.
Yeah.
And she does a great job. She does a lot of work with them. I don't know what I would do without her. And same thing with my stage manager, Nicole Riggs. I was looking for a stage manager. I couldn't find anybody, and luckily my set designer, Peyton Flowers, he recommended her to me.
Wonderful.
Oh, she's such a godsend.
Mm-hmm.
She is so on top of things. She's there for us whenever we need anything. I don't know what I would do without her. Our costumers, we have Jose Banuelos and we have Annika Perez
Wonderful.
helping out, but leading it. At first, it was Kari Setlak. She was
Okay.
getting busy, so she switched it over to Debbie Horner.
Okay. Debbie. We
And
love Debbie.
all those costumes.
She's worked on a number
She's
of
a trooper,
productions that my
especially-
family's been involved in. Yeah.
She came in late, and she right away on top of things,
Yeah.
talking to me, getting everything set up. I don't know
Yeah.
what I would do without her, too.
That's fantastic.
Lighting designer is Doug Rumbaugh.
Doug, we know Doug very
Oh,
well.
I'm a big
Love
fan of his
Doug.
work, so I'm glad to have him. And like I said, Peyton Flowers as our set designer.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of his work. He's won awards for his sets.
Oh,
And
wow.
I talked to him like a year ago, and I asked him to be my set designer, and then he gave me such a really cool concept, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes, I really love
I was
it.
just out on stage
Yeah.
and it was like, I've never seen this before. Oh, wow. This is pretty exciting. I mean, that's a challenging set to create.
Yeah, and then sound designers, I have Elijah Limon, and I have Madison Diaz.
Wonderful.
And then for my movement coordinator, like fight choreo and everything, I
Yes.
have Wyatt Mitchison Rojas, my really good friend.
How perfect.
And then makeup, we have Maya, who is
Okay.
our Jack in the
Yep.
female cast. She's helping out and doing that. She took that upon last minute.
Love that.
And on props, we have Shelby Malo.
Okay. Yes.
And then also as a master carpenter, we have Ken Armour.
Wonderful. I recognize a lot of those
Yeah.
names, and I'm excited to see the work of some of the ones that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting before. So it definitely takes a village.
Definitely
I,
does.
I'd love to hear more about the rest of the cast.
Yes.
And then before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the audition process.
Yes.
And that's something that is always very difficult. And I
Mhm.
know we talk about this on the podcast a lot. Listen, I've got to give my disclaimer. You're not going to get every role, everyone. You're not going to get every role. And just because you don't get certain roles doesn't mean you're not a great actor.
Mhm.
So just understand there's a process, there's a time, there's a place, there's a chemistry.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure and keep that encouragement going for those that are listening. You're not going to get every role,
Mhm.
and it's important to keep doing it. So with that, your thought process going into that audition, especially knowing that you have a male and a female
Mhm.
cast, you have to have some sort of idea of the morality statements of
Mhm.
each side. So tell us a little bit about that.
So going to the audition process, I originally knew that I want my actors to create not the characters that they know, but create a character of their own. Because the story of Lord of the Flies is their story.
Right.
And I wanted my actors to create their own story within the same boundaries of the book itself and the play itself. So I asked people who were going for the lead roles of Piggy, Jack, and Ralph to come in with a monologue that best showed who they are as a person. I want to see who they are and see how they fit into my show. And then for the other characters, just a set of cold reads that I would say. I would look at people and see how they're delivering certain lines. Like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
let's try them over here, let's try them over there, and see what energies I liked. And I was like, okay, cool. These are people I want to call back. And then when it got to the callback process, I already pre-selected the scenes, and I basically went into it, and I sent them all an email basically of telling them everything that I look for in these roles, who I think each character is, and I sent them all their sides, so they were all prepared ahead of time. Because some people aren't always like they can act on the spot with a cold read. They need time to prepare, and also giving them the time to prepare, I want to see what they could do with the time that I gave them, and you can see right away how hard a person works if you give them the time ahead.
Right.
And I already knew going into this show, especially with two different casts, there wasn't going to be a lot of time.
Yeah.
So I need to see actors who are willing to put in the work. And
Yeah.
I told all of them in the first email, I said, it's no longer about who is talented. Everybody who was called back that day was talented and deserving of being in my show. And I told them again when we started, I was like, I want you to know all of you deserve to be here.
Love that.
All of you deserve to be in this show. So even if you do not get casted, it's not because you're not good enough. You're here because you are good enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, but there's one vision. And it's
Yeah.
no longer about who's good. It's about who works well
You
together.
need to serve that story and how you
Because
want to
now
present
it was about the tribe
Yeah.
and how they connect together, how they work off of each other. And going into it, I already prepared a whole bunch of people.
Okay.
So it was right away because it was 3 hours to do two different casts.
Yeah.
Different scenes, different types of chemistry.
Yeah.
So I prepared a lot of people who I think would work well together based off their auditions and how I've seen them perform before. And then I'd go, okay, so this first thing we're doing, you guys are reading together, you guys are reading together, you guys are reading together, you guys are reading together. If you go outside and work with each other, prepare what you want to do. When you come in, be ready to play.
Yeah.
And that's how the whole process was. The second I knew it was who that person was, I would send the other people home because I didn't want to waste their time.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no point in wasting an actor's time if I already know who it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Dylan, I want to hear about the experience for you and then also interacting with your fellow actors and the rest of the cast.
Like auditions?
Auditions, I want to hear a little bit about that, but then now you have the role. I want to hear a little bit about that, the rest of the cast and what your approach is to sharing the story with the audience.
Yeah, during callbacks, I got dismissed before we even did Jack's monologue. So I'm like, oh no. Well, that's that. Working with this cast has honestly, it's been so much fun.
Yeah.
But with all that fun, it comes with so much learning as well.
Yeah.
Because it's so many different characters. Like
and an age gap.
Yeah. A lot of the guys in the guy cast are usually going to be typecast as like comedics, like comedic relief, stuff like that. And so now doing this show, which is like really like rock solid, like there's barely any comedy. And it's like, it's not just seeing me grow. It's like, I'm so happy to see everyone else grow. And it's like, because they're my littles, you know?
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah. And you have that responsibility, right? Because you do have younger actors. And so all of you have to, just like as a parent would have to, you have to lead by example. So, but that's got to be interesting because you're all going for a goal. And how do we get there with varying levels of experience? Gwen, talk a little bit about your experience with the auditions.
With the whole audition process, basically, just the freedom of everything, just picking out our monologues, and because I'm not a monologue person, I always find it so hard to find. But thank goodness this is a serious show, so it's a lot more easier to find serious monologues.
Yeah.
I did something from Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I don't think is a normal pick, but it was something that I really connected to. And through the callback process, it was different because we were able to bring each other aside and think like, okay, what are we going to do for this scene, and what is our intention, like what's going through our minds right now. And it's so nice to connect with other people, even people that you've never met before. It's just creating this sort of community even before we become like a cast and start a show. And which is funny because me and Haley are Simon in the girl cast. We were both waiting, the last two there, waiting for our rides, and Andrew and Sarah came out and they were just like, oh, should we just tell them? And then that's when they broke the news to us.
Oh, how special. Look at that. That's I have been in the household waiting for the cast list to come out before, when my family is when one of my children has auditioned for something, and that could be a very stressful evening.
Yeah, we were definitely stressed out.
So that's nice that you got that information ahead of time. So our production actually opens up next week.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. The female cast is going to be performing on October 17th, 19th, 25th, and 30th. And the male cast is going to be performing on the 18th, 24th, 26th, and November 1st. Did I get all that correct?
Yes.
So you're a week out.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yes and no. They can talk to you guys more about that.
Are you ready?
Well, we have our ups and downs. It's definitely a big show with a bunch of lines, which is our biggest struggle. With our connection, it's different because when it comes to lines, it's hard to know your intention if you don't know your lines, and just keeping the energy constantly like on point. It's just, we definitely have our intentions and our energy is always there, but we just have to keep on reminding ourselves like what is going on, what is our line, why are we saying it?
Yeah. Well, this next week's really gonna,
Yeah.
I think, help you guys get there.
Definitely gets better every day.
Yeah. And it sounds like the preparation going into it, it wasn't just a matter of memorizing lines. It sounds like
Yeah.
Andrew definitely made you
Oh, yeah. I made them work.
work and have more of a commitment to understand what
Yeah.
was going on. So listen, everyone, we're so excited to see both of the cast perform. We want everyone out there that's listening to go ahead and get your tickets. We gave you the dates. If you want to get tickets, you can go to chinochildrenstheater.org, or you can call the office at 909-590-1149. Again, the female cast performances are on October 17th, 19th, 25th, and 30th. Male cast performances, October 18th, 24th, 26th, and November 1st. Tickets are available now. Get them.
Yes.
Come and see both casts so that you can really appreciate the amount of work that's gone into this. Gwen, Dylan, Andrew, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing with me. I know that, again, there's some pretty heady topics that you have to cover with this particular production. So I appreciate your honesty and I appreciate your insights into that. So thank you so much. And we really look forward to seeing your production.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Steps to the Stage, a 7th Street Community Theater podcast. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review and a 5-star rating. It really helps. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Special thanks to Chino Community Theater and Chino Community Children's Theater for their generous support. And very special thank you to the listeners. Steps to the Stage was created by Joey Rice and Kirk Lane. Logo created by Marley Lane. Original music by Joey Rice. Your host, Kirk Lane. Engineer and producer, Joey Rice. Engineer and executive producer, Kirk Lane.